Alec,
Jack.
welcome back to Black Mirror.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Back.
Feels like.
Back in black, as they say. I'm sure I've said that
No,
before. I don't
never heard that before.
never never heard that one before. No.
So it's about 2 months. It's been about 2 months since we've done Bandersnatch. I almost forgot we even did Bandersnatch.
Has it only been 2 months? It feels like it's been longer than that.
Yeah, it's been 2 months since it was posted, so it might be longer.
Oh,
than
okay.
that
It might have been. Yeah.
But yeah. So if you're new to the channel, I'm a big Black Mirror fan. I've been taking Alec through the episodes for the first time. We have three episodes of season 5 to watch, and then we'll have season 6, which neither of us have watched still, the latest season.
Yeah.
So we've been like tracking as we go along. We'll have a little reaction segment you can go watch of the highlights of the reaction, and afterwards we'll discuss and we'll rank the episode amongst all the rest. So we've been doing that episode by episode. Now, Bandersnatch was like okay, it was a mixed reception from us.
Yeah, it's all right. I think in concept it's neat. I think some of the execution left maybe a little bit to be desired. I almost came down to just the story and the resolutions. I don't know.
And season 4 was definitely a mixed reception. We had some high highs, some low lows in the mix there.
For sure.
So we'll see what season 5 is giving us. We've got 3 episodes, so not too much to get through. But Black Mirror, we're at the point where we're just kind of fitting it in where we can, so it's not a week by week thing right now. But so we'll see when the next time we have a chance to watch the next episode is. But for now, we're gonna watch the first episode. It's called Striking Vipers. All right. So if you want to see the highlights of the reaction, click the link in the description and then come back afterwards for the discussion. All right?
Alrighty. See you then.
There you have it, Alec. That was Striking Vipers.
Yep. Yeah, it sure was. Sure was.
What do you think?
Okay.
Story's so beautiful it makes you want to cry.
No, not really.
What did we learn today?
That I guess you can get rewarded if you emotionally cheat on your wife, because if she's having the same issues you are physically, then I guess you guys can just go off and go E&M or whatever. I guess that's the real solution to life's problems.
As long as you balance it out. Yep, that's it.
Life's problems.
As long as she gets to cheat in her way, you get cheat in your way, and then it's all cool.
And I guess if they're communicative about it, then it's all good.
And that's the ultimate solution in relationships. So, I think that's what we learned.
Yeah.
Not the it seemed like the relationship had turned around in that 7-month jump, when she was pregnant, and it seemed healthier. He laid off the game. Yeah. That seemed like it was going along pretty well, but no, the ultimate solution is actually to revert back.
And because it was like the whole thing
is transcendent pussy in that game. That's so.
So the whole thing is instigated by his friend, right at that point, because he's like, no, we cut it off. I can just focus on real life, because they even acknowledged later on that there's no actual there's no physical chemistry between us in reality.
Yeah. There's a lot of different elements to it that are they make you think.
It's just is this to me this is terrifying, because this does not seem like a healthy solution to life's problems, but it's almost presented as kind of that way, and I don't really like that. Like, it makes me feel kind of gross and icky.
No, I don't
That's
think
kind
that's
of
what they're
the
implying. I think it's just like a Black Mirror thing where it's like, okay, they're about to talk. You see, he's clearly about to tell her.
yeah.
Cut away to, it's like, okay, they're having fun, all happy, and it's that classic thing
Oh, I
of
mean,
like, all
because
is
you did.
good, all is good on the outside, but underneath it, there's like some weird stuff going on. That's like the Black Mirror thing. I don't think it's saying that it's actually
Is
played
it?
out there.
But the thing is like, is it though? Like, I don't know. I see a lot more talk about like E&M relationships these days, and like the thing is, I think you have to be an unbelievably specific kind of person for that to work.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I'm not saying that that can't work, because human beings are weird and varied, and relationships are complicated, man. But I think I think there are probably too many people that are like willing to do that or go into that. Really, it's more as a pretext to get out of the relationship that you're in, rather than like as a thing. Um, because human beings are just naturally very jealous. We're very
yeah.
possessive, I guess. To it, I mean, to put it down to brass tacks, you people are very possessive of their things, and I know that's not necessarily maybe not like the most like PC way to put it. You think that your partner
Mm.
is your thing, but there's a certain degree of possessiveness that comes from the decision to be in a relationship with someone. Um, Particularly in a case like this, where it's not just they've decided to be in a relationship together, they've like had kids, right?
Married,
So
married
they're
with.
married, they have kids. That's a huge that's beyond like, when you're young and fooling around with a bunch of different people trying to figure things out. It's very different from
Mhm.
when you're in a committed sort of thing. So yeah, I hesitate to, just because like that's almost an aside from this episode per se, but like I hesitate to the degree in which I see or hear about like so for those of you who don't know, E&M is ethical non-monogamy. I doubt the amount of people that claim to be polyamorous
Mm.
are like, not that they specifically aren't, but like there's an ebb and flow in that, and in every relationship, to me, the person that is, and this is just from personal experience, obviously this isn't every case, but a lot of cases that I've seen, like from maybe not firsthand but secondhand, often is instigated by partner who really just wants to get out of the relationship.
Mhm.
And this is an easy pretext for them to bring up like, hey, I'm interested in seeing other people, and it's like a way for them to,
Right.
not like maybe almost a coercion of their partner to a degree. And I mean, look, people are complicated, so it's like I don't want to completely
Yeah, it's like a
naysay or anything like
have
that,
your
but it's
cake
like
and
you
eat it
can't.
too kind of thing. Like,
Yeah,
they
exactly.
want
And
the
it's like,
benefits of, like, because there's the comfort of being in a relationship. They want
mm,
that, but they might like literally want to pursue other people, but they want the perks of both. So it's like they're,
right.
yeah,
It's like you're not willing to make the sacrifice that a relationship ultimately forces you into, and it's like, to me,
yeah,
I think the beauty of a relationship is the committed sacrifices that you make for each other. That to me is like, because the emotion, the physical, that stuff's only temporary anyway. Like, I mean, even in this episode of Black Mirror, we see they're getting older, and when they get in the game, that's when they feel young and like vibrant and virile again. And that's why they're like going at it with each other, because it's like, damn, I feel
yeah,
like amazing. Um, like that kind of thing's not forever. So it's like that the thing that's the most important is that commitment that you have for each other. The choice to love someone, the choice to be with somebody is like, is a big deal. So, yeah,
Right?
this is just a wild episode that kind of doesn't. To me, it just like I don't know, it just sort of like pussyfoots around a little bit because it's really committed at like showing you how much they're emotionally cheating on each other's significant others.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like that's like 70% of the episode, I'd say, is like about that. It's like showing all the different ways that they're going into the game and hiding it from their wife and their girlfriend, and I don't know.
Right.
There was a lot of that.
The wife laid it out pretty well. What you're saying, like the whole partnership thing when they were on that date, and she was talking about it, like, you know, I wanted this guy to flirt with me just for some excitement. I wanted to, like, I could have all the opportunity in the world to do these things, but it's a part of the partnership. These are the things you sacrifice, even if it's not like you say you're tired and don't want to do anything, and don't touch me for like 3 weeks. Like, she's still being committed. So yeah, there is that element to it. It is weird. There's weird mixed messages in here. It's like,
because I feel like you can interpret the ending of the episode, I think, both ways. That's the thing that's confusing to me about it, because like I would say those are broken relationships we're seeing, basically.
Yeah. I think that's kind of what the subtext is. Yeah, I think it is, because like Black Mirror,
the song does tend to lean that direction.
Yeah, when it's like so woefully like, oh, look at us, it's a great relationship. Like Black Mirror has done some of that before, where it's like even the end of the first episode, National Anthem, where it's like they're all like happy in front of the press, and then the wife goes up and it's like,
she's like, she wants nothing to do with him. The pig fucker. Yeah.
But it's interesting because it almost seems like it's going to be turned into a story where it's like he's finding out he's gay or bisexual. It seems like it's going down that road, but it doesn't go down that road. It's like, it's like, no, I just like fucking you in this video game.
Which is like, it's kind of strange.
It's very strange
to me. Like,
but like they at least made a point of the guy, Anthony Mackie's character, only ever fucked the female character. They didn't switch it or anything, but so it's like the weird. Physically, it made sense, but the weirdness came with where it was like, it seemed like there's like some emotional stuff there, and they would like sit there cuddling and like talking.
Yeah, pillow talk after coitus in the game, which again is just kind of funny that the game actually programs it that, like, the game programs it that, like, oh yeah, he can, like, where his friend is even talking about like what it feels like to be penetrated, basically, and it's like,
but then that guy, he's so exclusively having the guy fucking him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we don't really know. That guy could just be bisexual.
Maybe,
But it's very unclear with that. And then they made it clear that he didn't feel anything when they kissed in real life. I don't know if that's specifically, like, in relation to him or just, like, guys in general. But it's interesting how it kind of flirts with the idea of going down that road, but it doesn't. So then it's ultimately like, okay, it's purely just the sensation of like how it's transcendent, as he describes it.
Yeah, in the game.
Yeah.
So it's like an addiction that's like tearing the. Like, it almost feels like in another episode this would be like a porn addiction or something. Is like causing a rift in the relationship.
Yeah, it sounds like it could be a similar idea, because it's like almost like an unhealthy standard. Like they want to be in all these environments and breaking through the walls and be intense.
It's like the shame and like is keeping it secret, and they're not sharing it with the. Yeah, there's like a weird. It's like that's kind of like the hidden nature of their physical relationship in the video game, or whatever you want to call it. Or...
It would cut from them being wet and wild in there, like there's sex in this video game, to like the real world where it's like a mild kiss with his wife, and he's like, I'm tired.
I'm tired. I got really tired from all that action in the game.
The contrast, it's like there's no excitement here, all the excitement there, and he's going for the shiny thing here.
It was funny because like that was not the direction. I had no idea where this was going. I had no idea where this was going until like the moment that they landed down and the female character. Well, she started like grinding a little bit. I was like, I was like, in my brain was like, I think I know where this is going, and then they started making out, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, all right, that's a little weird. And then like the soft piano, like the kind of acoustic sort of like undertone, I was like, oh, this is where this episode's going. Okay. And it was like that for the whole rest of the episode. And it was like, all right. Okay, I get it.
It's got the shock factor for sure. Like when you you see, it's like, oh, okay, they're going into this virtual reality fighting game. That's not really where your head goes.
Yeah.
Him and his bro are gonna go play this fighting game. And I mean, they showed like 11 years ago where they were playing a fighting game, like a regular one on a PlayStation controller.
Yeah, and they were just having
fun, broing it up,
yakking, having a good time. Yeah,
but it's interesting because you commented that early on, almost like, is that maybe that's the reason they were like away from each other for a decade.
There was like a weird like
underlying thing,
sexual tension, but there wasn't.
But there wasn't.
Yeah, it was just like it's what dudes do. Well, yeah, but it's just like a thing that sometimes like just. Dudes have a weird way of communicating sometimes with each other, where you can like go over a year without talking and then pick things right back up again.
People for sure like that, and but it was seeming like it would be an interesting detail if that's where the story was going, that there was something there. I was like, oh, I actually appreciate that detail, but like, no, it's not actually that. Okay, fair enough.
To use extreme generalizations to protect the innocent, I do know of people in. Like that I know where situations like this have happened, where people have had kids, multiple kids together, only for the husband to come out and admit later that he's gay,
right.
And then like that causes a divide in the relationship, and all kinds of problems with that turn up, and it's like it's a complicated, but it's also like a really sad thing that. There's just like there's tons of factors behind the particular one I'm thinking of, but there's always like complications when it comes to things like that in relationships. So I almost wondered if it was going to be like an exploration of that with like, how is this video game doing that? And it's kind of that, but it's also kind of not that.
It's kind of not.
It like it kind of doesn't really go in any particular like strong direction. Like that's if it meanders around in the like the gray area, which I guess is I think maybe the point.
Yeah.
But because it doesn't like pick a particular lane, it just kind of like generally.
Yeah, because
I think that was my problem with it.
It's confusing to them though, still, and it's just as confusing to us because we don't know. I guess because my thing is like he said that he tried doing it with other players,
right?
But nothing compared to me and you. So that seemed like a specific like intimate connection.
Yeah.
But is it just purely that he knows how to perform in this video game character's body better than anybody else? Like he's just better at it?
Maybe. Like that's where I'm like, bro, there's got to be somebody out there that can perform. But like that's the thing where it's like there's an emotional connection there. Like that's what it kind of is. It's like surely there's somebody out there that's a much better. I can't remember the character's name. Can perform it much better than he can.
Yeah.
Right? You'd think. But
because almost like otherwise I'm thinking like why it almost feels like a kink sort of thing, so why not ask your wife to get in the video game, see how that goes. I don't know. But
why not? But she wouldn't be as good at
like those two specifically together, even though they're not attracted to each other, there's nothing there. For some reason that's so much. Like that's the arrangement. Is the arrangement in the end is she can go out and do whatever she wants, take the ring off, get some excitement
for
that
a night
way,
or whatever. Yeah.
And he specifically is with his friend doing this arrangement. It's not just like with random people. It's with his friend. Like, this is the only way to achieve this high.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And his friend who has a cat, maybe he's poor now. I don't know. I don't know if that hat was just a fashion choice or, yeah. I don't know. It's
just weird vibes, you know.
Yeah.
Weird vibes mixed around in here. Like, you don't know how to feel. They don't know how to tell you this way and that way.
I mean, it was interesting. I feel like it did not need to be over an hour long. It really did not need to be that long. Like, we didn't need to see them continuously fucking in the game. Like, we really didn't need to see it that many times. Like, we could have seen it probably like 6 or 7 times, and I was like, I get it. He's cheating on his wife in the game or something or whatever. He's at least emotionally cheating on her, kind of physically too. I don't know.
It's
but.
And it was funny because you mentioned in the beginning, like, they had some fun effects with the actual fighting. But
it was pretty cool.
It was quickly like, okay, we're not fighting.
Yeah, I guess we're not doing that anymore.
They did one fight. They couldn't even see it all the way through, and then it's like,
no.
Well, we have fun bringing us into this game, but then it's like, okay, this game is just a fucking simulator now.
Apparently so.
You can
is every video game?
How are these games programmed? Like, you go into any game, you just start taking your clothes off. You know, so
apparently,
actually
like,
fucking.
Yeah, apparently she's like physically modeled to the point where, like, apparently a guy can feel what it's like to be a woman.
What in the world? How do they
during coitus?
How do you program that?
Yeah, how is that? How does that happen? What is that?
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. But like so video games in the future are all just kink machines then, I guess.
Yep, it's like any game you get, it's like there is the option. Of course, it's how games work. You can just go and fuck. The new Mario game, you can just go in, take your clothes off, start fucking.
Then even with a polar bear, apparently too. So,
and they have that all programmed in there that you can fuck a polar bear if you want. What?
What in the world is going on with that?
It's almost like you don't want us to think about the finer details, kind of hand wave that. It's like, don't worry about it.
Even though they specifically call it out in the episode.
I said I fucked a polar bear and I couldn't get you out of my head.
Yeah, like, okay, that's
get you out of my head. That's not emotional cheating.
Yeah, that's beep beep beep. That's an alarm. That's a massive alarm bell right there. It's like, yeah.
Because like, there's so many things that indicate it should be a deeper connection, but then it's like, made sure to clarify. No, it's not actually.
Yeah, no, it's actually
purely in the game with these two characters.
Yeah. Like they're really into the, it's weird. Yeah, I don't know.
And then when the developers drop a DLC, it's like, oh yes, new places to fuck. We gotta hop on tonight.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Just new levels. I love how they're like, heck yeah, these new environments. But like most 2D fighting games don't have, like, you can't like walk around the environments. That's the whole point. It's on a plane, right?
Right.
So
all the rules are out the window. It's like the genres mean nothing in this world. It's like,
no.
You're in a car, you get in a kart racer, you immediately just get out of the cart and start fucking, like,
you start fucking the cart. You start
I fucked a car.
Yeah, that's what you start doing in those games. Yeah,
I couldn't get you out of my head.
That's right.
I fucked so many cars.
Boy.
Anything else? I mean, it's interesting to touch on. Like, I thought the conversation where we were kind of silent for a while through it, that they were having in their little date, I think that was pretty effective. It's like, of like how she's feeling insecure because of it, like what's going on. He wasn't saying anything.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that felt like so real. Like, that just felt really.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I was like, ooh, this is rough. I think I said during it, because it's like, that was like some of the realest dialogue in a Black Mirror episode. Probably in a while.
Yeah,
watching it.
That's real. Like, if you don't make an effort to keep the spark alive, that for sure can quickly get out of hand. And especially when like they're talking about like into family life, everything can become routine. You're reading the same children's book every day. It's like so boring. Like,
you
need to
wash the dishes. You wash the dishes, and
you need to break, like, routine can be good, but you need to break it. You need to spice it up. Like, otherwise it's like you're just gonna both be miserable, and and then inevitably resort to like the other sex life is not there, and then they're thinking
And
about
they're off with
doing other
other
things.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's weird because yeah, obviously Black Mirror's not here to like always give you like the most powerful correct message. You know, that's the thing of Black Mirror. It can be just be a dark resolution, but it's like you had a good moment where it's like they step away from the game. They seemed happy. She was pregnant. They were doing what they were doing. Seemed like they're keeping the spark alive a little bit better, and then we revert back to it. And then it has to be this whole arrangement. And so it's like you come home at the end of the night. It's like it's gonna be weird vibes. You're right. With open relationships, it takes a very specific kind of person for that to work. Otherwise, like most people, they're gonna have some heavy jealousy, and they're just not gonna be comfortable with it. It's inevitably gonna lead to like conflict in that way. So,
right. There's just like even if you like you can mask it and you can like lie to yourself. Like, because people are really good at doing that to themselves, but it's like something's bound to break it eventually.
And
so
a lot of most relationships that people would say no, that's a no go for me. Like full stop.
Yeah.
Some relationships they might both be on for. That's very rare. But there's a lot of those relationships where like you have the person who wants to do it, and I'm sure there's a person who's not as into it but is willing to do it for the other person. So inevitably they're getting less out of it than the other person, and it becomes unbalanced and quickly unhealthy that way. So it's like if you actually care about the person, it's not like a selfish I want to fuck around but also have this stability here. Then you need to be very careful about making sure they actually want to do it. They're not just doing it to appease you. And like, it leads to uncomfortable things like this, and this is putting it in a weird context with this virtual game.
All right.
But it's interesting to think about.
Yeah, for sure. Relationships are complicated, man. That's there's one thing I've been able to tell from my experience long ago, and also just observing how my friends and everyone have relationships. It's a messy business, but
it's not easy.
It's not easy. Not necessarily that's a messy business.
It's not easy. What's what you have to understand, especially when you're going to that length of you are married, you're gonna have kids. You have to understand the sacrifices that go into that. And like when we talk about it like this, it sounds like all bad. It's like when you get in a relationship, you're just sacrificing. But
it's like you're sacrificing to. It's like, think of it like tending a garden, right? All the time and effort you put into tending the garden to make it as good as possible. But like, because of what you get, the continued renewal, the growth, the fruition of all the work you're putting into it is so much greater than just momentary bliss. I guess you could think of it that way. And that's what I would say. Like most, if not all, married couples I talk to would come to that sort of that kind of an analogy, or at least that kind of an explanation as to like why putting effort into being married and caring for your partner is so worth it. Yeah.
But there's a reason there's a lot of divorces, because it can become more sacrifice than reward if you don't tend to that garden. It's like if you're proactive and are actively like doing things to keep things fresh and be loving and all these things, then you can be in a good spot. But if you're more passive and are just like, existing in it and not doing much to tend to it, then it can quickly turn into that. So
like communication's everything. It's like talking about your feelings, which is what Anthony Mackie wasn't doing.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And then once you go that extra step and fuck your friend in a fighting game,
I mean, I don't know what you.
it's hard to go back.
It's
hard to go back from
yeah, apparently so. Yeah, it's just like it's nothing like it.
You can try to put it in the back of your mind and forget about it. You won't. You won't. He'll always come back around. Your wife will invite that friend to dinner.
Yeah.
It might be 1 month later. It might be 10 years later. He'll be back.
And your friend who agreed to, although sort of somewhat begrudgingly, to break it off, will accept the invite.
Yeah.
Against your wishes.
Nothing compares to it. He wants to fuck you in a fighting game.
Nothing compares to it.
All right, so it's time. Let's try to rank this episode in the other episodes here.
Okay.
So previously, your episode rankings for so many episodes at this point. We got
there's a lot.
Playtest, White Christmas, Entire History of You, USS Callister, Hang the DJ, Nosedive, San Junipero, 15 Million Merits, Be Right Back, Hated in the Nation, Shut Up and Dance, Crocodile, Black Museum, Bandersnatch, White Bear, National Anthem, Men Against Fire, Archangel, Waldo Moment, Metalhead. Those are your current rankings. Where would you put Striking Vipers?
Striking Vipers is probably just below White Bear.
Below White Bear. Okay.
I actually might put National Anthem above it too.
Okay, what about Men Against Fire? Does Men Against Fire go above it?
No.
That's where the buck stops.
Yeah, buck stops there.
Top of bottom 5 for you. Striking Vipers.
I mean, I think, like I said, it just... I think there's a lot of interesting concepts. I mean, we talked about pretty much everything there is to talk about, I would say. There's definitely a lot of layers, but the problem is it never gets too deep in any of the layers. I wish it would have committed more in a certain direction rather than just kind of like face valuing a lot of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just...
I think it would be a lot more a respectable story, honestly, if they did just go full in with they had a connection.
That he's bi or something.
So, not only you check off the full on cheating aspect, but there's also the finding out you're bi thing too. Like that would be a lot more satisfying to me as a story. I could see that.
Because say there's a spark when they're fighting in the rain, and they're like, okay, well, what do we do now? And then it still leads to a fight because Anthony Mackie's still like, no, we still can't do this because I have a family, and then they still have a fight. I don't know. I don't know how you resolve from there, but I think to me it felt like it felt like they just wanted to have that ending like that, because that ending, it almost feels like the ending is like just the natural conclusion to the different
you can still have that ending though with that in mind though. I mean, it could still have ended that way.
Yeah.
Almost like I can't see from what I saw of their conversation where they said they felt nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see an interpretation of that like they were lying to themselves. I don't because it's always possible that the story does that where it's like they're saying they felt nothing but they did and they're just kind of pushing it back. I didn't get that impression though.
No, I didn't either. They both seem pretty resolute and be like, yeah, no, that there really wasn't anything there. I feel like you would have
seen them a little more flustered if it was like, no, okay, no, nothing.
Yeah.
But it was just like, I don't know. Maybe there's an interpretation there but I don't think so. All right, so my episodes currently are Hang the DJ, Playtest, White Christmas, Entire History of You, San Junipero, 15 Million Merits, USS Callister, Nosedive, Shut Up and Dance, Be Right Back, Hated in the Nation, Crocodile, White Bear, Black Museum, National Anthem, Bandersnatch, Men Against Fire, Archangel, Waldo Moment, Metalhead. Interesting. It's right around Black Museum for me. It's either above or below Black Museum.
Okay.
I Oh no, but no, National Anthem's better. So I would put it below National Anthem. Striking Vipers, which puts it for me at sixth from last. Right,
I'm curious I'm curious what people generally say about this episode. Now that we're talking about it, Striking Vipers. It's generally, there's one person that puts it fourth, but it's like 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 21st, 23rd. So it's kind of like,
So we've done 21 episodes at this point, and on mine it's 16th, on yours it's 17th, I think. So that's where we're at right now.
Because like San Junipero is a much better. It's almost like this is almost like a different version of that.
Yeah.
That's like it feels like almost a different sort of a different sort of telling of that. It's like obviously scenarios are slightly different, but like I don't know, discovering different parts of your sexuality, I guess. That's sort of involved in San Junipero. That's a much better story though.
Yeah.
Like much better story. Yeah.
All right. I mean, it was fun. It's fun seeing Anthony Mackie in there. And
so I will give him this. The performances were pretty good. The performances are pretty good. So
I like the casting choices. Like Anthony Mackie is like out of left field, but it's like okay, it works. I mean, it works. All right. We got 2 episodes left of the season. All right, and we'll get to them as soon as we can. I assure you. I think the next episode is called Smithereens. Smithereens. And then, of course, we do have Rachel, Jack, and Ashley, too, waiting for us at the end of the season.
That's the only episode I know just is pretty much hated by everybody, so... Very interested to see what the big deal, what the fuss is all about.
Surely you won't go in with any preconceived notion.
Well, that's the unfortunate thing. I have a preconceived notion, but
that's the annoying thing. But
we'll see. We'll judge it. We'll see if it can really be worse than Metalhead. Can it really be worse than Metalhead? I don't know. That's a real question.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting. I think I've only watched it once, but. It was my least favorite episode at the time, so we'll see if it changes.
Stands there. No.
All right. Well, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this, go check out. We have other Black Mirror stuff on the channel. We have a whole playlist for it. If you go to zacharcher.net/Black Mirror, there's a whole page where you can click on the season, click on the different episodes. And yeah, so we've got reactions for every episode before this. We have a review for Bandersnatch. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff in the Black Mirror catalog here. So we got 2 more episodes before we can get on to season 6, which will be fun. I don't really know. I've been looking away from any like reception or things on that.
Yeah, I haven't really heard. I think I heard thankfully I switched it off. I heard the Trash Taste guys did a general review. They really didn't like season 6 from what they listened to it. But there are also people that they say anything past season like 2 is kind of trash. Yeah, so, but I'm like, some of my favorite episodes are from season 3 and 4, so I don't really trust their opinions all that much. Some
people got on the Black Mirror high horse very quickly, like once they switched to Netflix.
Netflix took over. It was less of a BBC, it was a little less British, I guess, and so of course they're all.
But season 3 was our best, our favorite season so far. So
I think so. Yeah. So I think I would definitely say that.
In the meantime, what video would you recommend our viewers watch next?
I mean, go check out our season 3 review. Why not go check out what we had to say about the season 3 in general.
Absolutely. It's always interesting. Like we did that the season 1 we did after 3 episodes. We had to do a review of that, so we'll have to do a review of season 5.
Yeah,
with 3 episodes as well.
Yep.
Right. Well, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed. Like the video, leave a comment, And if you do, we'll be sure to read the comment on the next episode of the Tarqaron podcast. All right. Click the link in the description for our social media and hit that notification bell. All right.
Alrighty.